Hey guys, this is Vol, and it's now time to do another commentary on Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne. Now, this game has actually come from Replayers.com, which is one of my favorite Warcraft 3 replay sites, and their replay of the week is usually either a really funny replay, a really long, epic replay, or just a really good programming replay. And in this case, it's a really good programming replay, and we've got aTTaX, aTTaX, name of the clan, SaSe, S-A-S-E. I'm not sure whether to pronounce them SaSe or SaSe or SaSe. I'm just going to call him SaSe for this game, but you guys can correct me if you like. And his opponent is the renowned Undead Korean player mTwAMD, that's his clan, Fov. So we're just referring to him as Fov, but he's the not the Terran player, the Undead player. And the map is Twisted Meadows. So we've got a good old Night Elf versus Undead on Twisted Meadows, and I'm really looking forward to see how it turns out. It's been a while since I've commentated on any Warcraft 3. Indeed, it's been a while since I played any Warcraft 3. In fact, now that I've reinstalled it on my computer, I can't find my CD key for the for Classic, so I've had to use a different one. I can't play online. But enough of that. We've got SaSe. Yeah, I'm going to call him SaSe. Putting down that first Ancient of War, as well as just after his altar. And over at the Undead base, of course, we had the Crypt and Ziggurat go down first, but followed that up with the Altar and then the second Ziggurat. So looking like a fairly normal Undead build here. He's going for that hero now. He's putting down the Tomb of Relics, getting the typical Death Knight. I don't really want to go for any of the other choices as Undead. Death Knight's really like the staple of Undead play these days, especially for Fov. Fov is the type of player who really likes to just use a lot of ghouls or gargoyles. He doesn't really use fiends very much if he can avoid it, and he really likes to rely on his one-base micromanagement play, and that's something I respect about this guy, and he always does that well. So other Undead players sometimes go for expansions or try other sort of weird things, fiends builds, but Fov is tried and true, and he's really good at what he does. If I could just recommend any Undead player at all to sort of copy a basic tri-hero ghouls build from, it'd be Fov, because he's always done it well. So we've got Fov's 6th Acolyte heading around the map to look for the base. He's actually scouted last because SaSe SaSe's actually down at the 7 o'clock position. And did you notice that Wisp actually just passing by the Acolyte? That Wisp, I'm very suspicious of it because it's headed down to the 6 o'clock position of the map, and it's probably going to be hanging out there for an expansion or something later on. And finally, Fov's found SaSe's base by hitting the Acolyte over there, so he's immediately heading over there with a number of ghouls and a couple of skeletons, which he raised from that dead sheep carcass. You might have seen that, the Death Knight just killing the sheep so he could have a skeleton to raise from with his Wand of Necromancy, which he picked up from the Tomb of Relics, Tomb of Necromancy, sorry. It's getting mixed up between franchises and games here, as I'm probably going to do quite a lot this game. But here comes the attack now, and the archers of SaSe here trying to defend, but archers being a terrible unit against ghouls. Fov's making the most of that, and chasing the archers around SaSe's base. The reason, mind you, why SaSe is not getting Huntresses, which are much better against ghouls, the reason for that is because he's teching up straight away to tier 2, and he hasn't built a Hunter's Hall, which allows you to get Huntresses. So his decision to go archers gives him at least some defense. I mean, at least archers are better than nothing, but because of his choice to tech up very quickly, archers are the only things that he can really afford, given his choices there. So the ghouls are really running around him and getting some kills. Luckily, it's nighttime now for the Night Elves, and he should be able to make some of his archers invisible if he wants to. But Fov will be able to use Dust of Appearance, or whatever you call that spell, to see them later on if he picks up a pack of that. Oof, okay, so Fov heading back with wounded ghouls. He's managed to do a little bit of damage, a little bit of harassment, probably not as much as one could hope for if you're an Undead player. I was going to say Necron player, but we're talking about Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne here, so he's an Undead player, and still going for the Wisps. The Wisp trying to actually swap with Healthy Wisps from the Gold Mine. That's what you can see him doing here. He's just taking out Healthy Wisp from the gold mine, because the gold mine's protected with the roots and the trees around it. It's got an enclosure there where enemies can't actually attack the workers harvesting gold. So he's just exchanging the weak ones for the healthy ones to minimize his losses in that regard. Archer's still trying to get a few shots off, but again, every time the ghouls head for them, they have to run back, run back. And it's going to be a matter of whether FOV kills them in time or if he gets any dust of appearance. And hey, look at this Tree of Life at the 6 o'clock position. So SaSe is going to be expanding down there. FOV doesn't know about this, but he possibly suspects it. Panda Brewmaster, second hero, because SaSe has actually reached tier 2 already. That's the advantage of skipping Huntresses and just going straight up with the tech. He's managed to get to tier 2, and we've now got a second hero, so this should be enough to fend off this little constant harassment here from the Undead. But mind you, FOV's probably been taken to tier 2 as well, as you want to do in this sort of situation. Now, matchup is what I meant. Now, there's the Death Knight actually picking up the dust of appearance, so this Archer's going to be toast. Let's have a look at this, yeah. This Archer just zooming in for a nicer look, and the Archer tries to be invisible. There's the dust of appearance going down, and whoa, chopped in half. And ghouls heading away. The heroes are definitely chasing them as fast as they can. The Death Knight's the dread. What do you call that thing? A Demon Hunter is going to pick off that ghoul. And just getting ready for tier 2, FOV is putting down that second crypt as well as the graveyard. Those two buildings will allow him to pump gargoyles out of 2 crypts. And I just got to really wonder whether FOV suspects that expansion, because, I mean, he's a very experienced player. He knows Undead versus Night Elf. He's seen SaSe's build. He's seen him go straight to tier 2, so he's probably going to have a quick look around for an expansion. I'm not sure whether he's decided to... No, he didn't actually run in range of that tree. Excuse me, but the tree nonetheless is moving towards expansion. This is the point in the time where SaSe has been left alone by FOV in terms of expansion, so he's going to send his heroes down there to actually get that tree in place. FOV just picking off a random wisp. And here come the gargoyles, so they're getting ready for some harassment now, and we're definitely into the mid-game. And this is where we'll see Undead gargoyle harassment probably at its finest, knowing FOV. Up against this double expansion, double base, the single expansion kind of strategy from the Night Elves, and with that expansion up, the Night Elves will probably transition into a lot more archers and possibly some casters, like, or maybe dryads. He may go archer dryad. He may even go archer plus druids of the Talon, which can be a decent choice. But he's going to need to do something, because just that expansion on its own is not going to be enough to really win the game against FOV's harass here, because he's got ghouls and gargoyles. So the thing about the strategy is that the ghouls counter archers. Archers are the only thing that counter gargoyles. So FOV's got both of his bases covered there. Really, he can just pick off whatever kind of unit the Night Elves decide to go with, and we'll be seeing that shortly. So the Night Elf heroes, though, they're the two solid constants in this equation. They're the heroes that really are tough to counter from the Night Elves. For the Undead can really focus their attention on the archers, no problem, but the heroes are really what can deal with both ghouls and gargoyles. We'll be seeing that shortly. As you can see, the Panda Brewmaster throwing all of his ale over top of his flammable ale over top of the ghouls, and then doing his breath of fire attack to actually really waste them. He can do that on gargoyles as well, and in fact, it's very, very effective ability using gargoyles. Usually the Undead players, you see them teching up to stone form so that they can actually get rid of the ale debuff effect on them. But at the moment, the gargoyle's just running amok in the Night Elf base, getting kills off on these wisps. There's a big flame blast over them. Didn't actually do too much damage there because he hadn't actually done that in combination with the ale buff. The timing was a bit out, I think. I'm not too sure what happened there, but at this point, the gargoyles are doing really well. There's more coming in all the time, pumping from the double crypt. That's the point of the strategy there. And SaSe having to actually leave his base with the wisps, heading out of there. And there's another archer looking like it's going to be going down. So things going pretty well for FOV here. SaSe will be really wanting to try and actually make the most of his expansion, knowing that that's his real ticket to survival here. And we'll see how that works out. Gargoyle is still going off after these wisps, so unfortunately the Night Elves will be losing a lot of lumber from this, but luckily Warcraft is a game where you don't rely on such kinds of resources too heavily, at least not as much as you do, say, in StarCraft. But taking a look now down at the 6 o'clock position, this is roughly where aTTaX's got his expansion going. He's actually building some new buildings down there, possibly because he suspects that FOV is not bothering to attack him there, and it's not bothering to check for his expansion, and his fledgling buildings will be safe there. He's hoping that FOV won't actually attack them.